our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health,
someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome, and I'm sure all those soccer fans who've been watching the latest match as well, we can say what has happened to Manchester over the weekend, Manchester United to be precise, and what has happened to Arsenal just some few minutes ago. Well, we'll be keeping tabs on that, but hey, Viva! Let's say the winning team gets to win. Sunday Express tonight, we're going to be looking at several issues, including on where we stand in as far as matters of politics is concerned, with the presence of former President Uhuru Kenyatta in the political scene. What does this mean for the larger opposition? This and so much more on Sunday Express tonight. But first things first, the highlights.
Niliona gari aina ya Nissan ikiofara, gari aina ya Subaru. Subaru ikarudi kwa barabara, ikarudi side yake, Nissan ikashindwa kuingia. Trailer nayo ilikuwa imekuja ikipiga mahoni ikagonga hiyo Nissan.
Tragedy on the road. 13 people killed, 3 others seriously injured at the Kariandusi Elmentaita area along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway. Road to 2027. The United Opposition say they are committed to their resolve of being on the ballot in the next general election. And small but mighty. In our feature, Crickets of Hope, we tell how women groups in Marsabit and Samburu counties are infusing the small insects in children's meals and animal feeds to boost nutrition.
You're watching Sunday Express. I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague in sign language is none other than Byron Abuli. We start on a somber note this Sunday, as 13 people have been confirmed dead and 3 others seriously injured in a grisly road accident at the Kariandusi Elmentaita area along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway. The accident occurred at around midday after the driver of a 14-seater matatu tried to overtake another vehicle and rammed into an oncoming trailer head-on. Confirming the incident, Nakuru Police Boss Emmanuel Opuru said the matatu was heading towards Nakuru when it collided head-on with a trailer, killing 12 people on the spot as one died on the way to hospital.
The wreckage at the scene of the accident tells of the impact of the road accident that left 13 people dead and 3 others seriously injured. Personal belongings scattered all over are representation of a life either lost or changed forever. According to those who witnessed the accident, the driver of the matatu belonging to ATS Sacco was attempting to overtake another vehicle.
Niliona gari aina ya Nissan ikiofara na gari aina ya Subaru. Subaru ikarudi side yake, Nissan ikashindwa kuingia. Trailer nayo ilikuwa imekuja ikipiga mahoni ikagonga hiyo Nissan.
It has been a very fatal accident whereby I witnessed a loss of so many lives. It's really devastating. It's something that it's affecting me. Yani kuna hiyo unafikiria vile hao watu walikuwa kwa gari.
This is not a matatu that normally plies this road. I think this is maybe the first time they are using this road.
One of the motorists, Stephen Githinji, who was behind the ill-fated matatu, is lucky to be alive.
Sababu matatu ilikuwa mbele yangu. All of a sudden nikaona imevuka upande ule mwingine wa barabara. Ikakutana kichwa kwa kichwa na lori. Mimi nilikuwa nyuma yake, nikaona sitarudishana nyuma. Mwishowe nikaona sasa langu lile ningefanya ni kurusha gari yangu chini. Na hata ukiangalia gari yangu hapa imefanya kuguzwa na hiyo matatu.
Motorists have been urged to exercise extra caution on the road.
We find that this area is a black spot, and we also wanted to call upon Kenya to come up with a temporary measure to see how to address this matter, because this road around this area is so narrow.
The accident comes hours after another one occurred near Kimende on Saturday, involving a St. Mary's Elementaita Hospital ambulance. The accident claimed 6 lives, including that of the patient, her husband, 2 relatives, a nurse and the driver. Nancy Okwari, Sunday Express.
May the souls of the departed rest in peace. But as they say, that was totally human error. All right. Now, the Ministry of Health is warning that heart disease remains one of the Kenya's biggest silent killers, claiming nearly 1 in every 10 lives. According to the head of non-communicable diseases prevention in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Elizabeth Onyango, Kenyans must guard their hearts through healthier lifestyles, regular checkups, and avoiding risky behaviors which necessitate heart conditions. Joseph Wahungu reports.
Hundreds of Kenyans, both young and old, converged at University of Nairobi's Kenya Science Campus along Gong Road to mark World Heart Day under the theme, Don't Miss a Beat. The Ministry of Health and Kenya Cardiac Society organized a day-long event to raise awareness about health of the heart.
As I am here championing for everybody who is out there, who is wondering how or if I have a heart issue, what is the way forward?
Your heart is the most important thing. Even the Bible says, it says guard your heart, and it means emotionally as well as, just keeping yourself healthy.
Doctors offered free screening for blood pressure, sugar and cholesterol levels, allowing participants to know their health status.
Early screening and prevention of heart disease is very important in that it can prevent death from cardiovascular diseases.
With heart disease now among the leading causes of death in Kenya, organizers say awareness and lifestyle changes remain key to reversing the trend.
Sometimes the heart conditions advances until you probably may need very advanced care, you may need surgery. So that's what we are trying to prevent.
Doctors warn that despite 1 in 4 Kenyan adults living with high blood pressure, most do not even know about it.
Globally, we can say that this disease causes around 20 million deaths each year. Here in Kenya, 1 out of every 10 deaths in the country is due to a cardiovascular disease.
Also highlighted were reforms under the Social Health Authority and the Digital Health Authority aimed at making treatment and prevention of chronic diseases more affordable and accessible. With heart disease increasingly affecting younger Kenyans in their 40s and 50s, Sunday's activities served as a reminder that prevention is better than cure.
What is more important is that this disease can be prevented through some lifestyle changes. Particularly, ideally, 80% of the cases could have been prevented if we adopt healthy lifestyle.
Joseph Wahungu for Sunday Express.
To matters politics, the United Opposition has vowed to resist alleged attempts by government operatives to dismantle their coalition ahead of the 2027 general election. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to challenge President William Ruto's leadership at the helm come 2027. Their remarks came amid growing debate sparked by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, who recently claimed that the gains made during his administration are being reversed by his successor.
At a church service held at the Jesus Exaltation Center, or Kinos, in Kajiado County, opposition leaders criticized the political alliance between President Ruto and Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga, accusing them of attempting to fracture the opposition.
Mimi nimeketi chini na huyu Eugene Wamalwa. Alikuwa offered waziri wa broad-based government. Akakataa, akasimama na Wakenya. Nimeketi na Martha Karua, hawezi tingishwa. So between myself, Kalonzo, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, George Natebea, those 5 leaders cannot betray the people of Kenya.
Because you are the alternative government, please. You remain united ili muweze kuonyesha wa Kenya uongozi vile unakaa.
As preparations for the 2027 general elections intensify, the leaders called on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to clearly outline its strategy for the continuous voter registration exercise set to begin on Monday, alleging a voter suppression scheme.
And you cannot be a participant without the tool of change. And the tool of change is the voter's card. So vijana, tunaomba nyinyi tafadhali. Nyinyi ndio tegemeo la Kenya. All of us are looking upon you to save our country. As we are there to call out Ruto, to say what is wrong, to guide on what should happen, but the real transformation of our country will be done by the Gen Zs through the vote.
Na tungetaka vijana wakijitokeza kwa wingi wafanye laini kuanzia kesho. Mimi na wenzangu nasema tutaenda na sisi tuwashangilie. Kama kuna wengine hata kuwa na nauli, problem ya nauli kufika where to register, we want to know, because we expect zaidi ya vijana milioni 6 wasajiliwe kama wapiga kura.
Meanwhile, Ndia Member of Parliament George Kariuki launched a scathing attack on the former Deputy President, urging Mount Kenya residents to reject what he described as divisive and self-serving politics. Kariuki emphasized the need for leadership that prioritizes solutions over rhetoric.
Na tunataka hapa kwetu Mount Kenya tuongozwe na watu wa ideas ya vile watoto wetu watapata elimu bora, vile tutapata uwezo wa kufikia healthcare ya juu, vile tutapata infrastructure.
Elsewhere, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's recent comments on the alleged shortcomings of the Kenya Kwanza administration continue to stir political reactions. Kakamega Governor Fernandes Barasa has accused the former head of state of dishonesty.
Wewe umestaafu, patia Rais William Samuel Ruto nafasi ya kutumikia wa Kenya. You cannot start lecturing the current administration ya kwamba ulifanya kazi na hapa Kakamega we cannot see anything. Hakuna project yoyote ambayo ilikamilika.
Akizungumza kana kwamba tangia atoke uongozini Kenya imebaki mahali aliiacha. Ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba Kenya inasonga mbele, Kenya inazidi kuimarika kiuchumi. Kenya na Wakenya wanazidi kupata ustaarabu kutokana na uongozi ambao tumeupata, uongozi wa rais wetu William Ruto.
And Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has criticized the opposition for what he termed as opposing for the sake of it, even in the face of visible government development initiatives.
Hata wewe ambao unatakia hii serikali mambaya, Kenya ikizarambatika, sisi zote tutaumia pale ndani. Si ndio hiyo? Jamani, tukue na moyo na hutu ya kutakia mema nchi yetu kwanza.
Ruku was speaking during a Sunday service at the Great Gospel Visioners International Church in Embu Town.
I'm sure he meant Zambaratika there. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, will resume the continuous voter registration on Monday, opening another window for eligible Kenyans to either register as new voters or update their details in the readiness of the 2027 general election. IEBC says the registration will be conducted across all constituency offices, except areas preparing for the by-elections in November. As Abdiaziz Hashim now tells us, leaders have called upon the youth to register in their numbers and make their choice through the ballots.
The road to the 2027 general election is taking shape, with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, set to resume the continuous voter registration on Monday.
We said, even during our interviews, that we look after the interest of all Kenyans.
The exercise offers eligible Kenyans an opportunity to either register as new voters or update their details. According to the IEBC, the initiative is part of its mandate to maintain an updated and credible voter register, which is the cornerstone of transparent and inclusive electoral processes. Other services available during the CVR exercise include transfer of registration to a different electoral area and verification of voter information. This comes as leaders are urging the youth to register en masse ahead of the 2027 general election.
Ni vizuri sana kama vile wanasema, wakati tunaenda kuchagua watu, tuwe tumewaangalia vizuri. Hallelujah. Tuwe tumewapima vizuri. Amen.
Speaking during a church service at the Restoration Church in Kerugaya, Kirinyaga County, Bishop Joseph Miano urged the youth to register and vote for the leaders that they want.
Nataka nikuambie, kura yako moja ni usaidizi katika kiongozi na katika nchi. Kwa hivyo muende mchukue kula na muamke mapema. Kuna kusanjiri, muende musanjiri.
IEBC officials led by their chair, Erastus Edung Ethekon, are set to launch the exercise on Monday in Mashuru Boarding Primary School in Kajiado County. Abdiaziz Oshem for Sunday Express.
That takes us to a fast break. Tonight on Sunday Express, we'll be right back with more of what has been happening in the last 12 hours, including those updates in the sporting arena. Do keep right here.
Jeshi la Ulinzi la Kenya KDF linawatangazia zoezi la usajili wa Kenya ambao wangependa kujiunga nao kama wanajeshi. Zoezi hili litafanyika mwezi Oktoba mwaka huu. Usajili ambao utafanyika ni wa General Service Officers GSO, Cadets Regular and Graduates, Specialist Officers, General Duty Recruits, Tradesmen and Women and Defense Forces Constables. Je, una ndoto za kutumikia taifa la Kenya kama mwanajeshi? Kwa maelezo zaidi tegea KBC Radio Taifa tarehe 4 mwezi Oktoba, punde tu baada ya taarifa ya habari ya saa 1 usiku. Kadhalika, kwa maelezo zaidi ya wale ambao wangependa kujiunga na jeshi la Kenya, tembelea tovuti ya www.mod.go.ke. Kumbuka, tendo la hongo na ufisadi wa aina yoyote ni kinyume cha sheria na hakuna anayeweza kushawishi usajili wako, kwani zoezi hili ni bila malipo kwa wote ambao wangependa kujiunga na jeshi la Kenya. Ukikubali kuadaiwa, utapoteza pesa na mali yako na kuishia korokoroni.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express. Now, junior secondary school teachers across the country are once again raising their voices, pressing for full autonomy in the junior secondary school. They argue that managing junior secondary schools under the primary institutions is undermining the competency-based curriculum. Our reporter Aaron Marie has the details.
In Mombasa, educators led by Obara Kevin faulted the current arrangement where junior schools are run under primary school heads. They insist that each level of learning requires its own management, complete with independent principals, boards, and resources.
We demand for autonomy. We want to be allowed to run our activities, to run our games independently as junior school.
The calls were echoed in Kilifi County, where members of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, took to the streets of Malindi. They accused the Presidential Working Party of failing to involve teachers and students during consultations on the new system.
The sessional paper that is talking on the same, on domiciling the junior school in primary, is not having the interest of junior school teachers and the students' interest.
In Kitui, GSS teachers led by KUPPET Branch Secretary Kioko Mutia demanded the junior schools be allowed to operate independently, separate from primary schools where they are currently hosted.
The Ministry of Education and the government must see the wisdom in rethinking the dom taken to secondary schools where it rightly belongs.
And in Baringo, KUPPET officials called for reforms to safeguard education standards. They noted that the meager of level under the comprehensive school model has created confusion, citing the lack of equipped laboratories and clear career progression and uncertainty over the confirmation of 20,000 interns.
And we are saying that come January, we shall not have classes if our JS teachers shall not be confirmed. Yes. And I want to affirm today that our JS teachers in primary now who have been confirmed will rally behind those not confirmed and ensure that they are confirmed.
Junior secondary teachers across the board maintain that granting autonomy is the only way to ensure accountability, quality education, and dignity for both learners and educators. Aaron Marie, Sunday Express.
Solidarity forever.
Now, Muslim youth scholars and diplomats have called on the Muslim faithful in the country to embrace all humanity and strengthen peaceful coexistence within the society. The leaders who were speaking at the Jaffa Islamic Center in Nairobi County during the celebrations of the Maulid noted the collaboration of people from all faiths was critical in building a united people. Maulid is a religious festival that marks the birth of Prophet Muhammad.
Hundreds of Muslim faithful gathered at Jafar Islamic Center in Nairobi County to celebrate Maulid, a religious festival that marks the birth of the Prophet Muhammad.
Make an impact in mankind, in the humanity, ensure that you bring change to the community. I mean, we're not perfect, but every generation we can change day by day. The Holy Prophet is always known as Rahmatul lil Alameen, which is the most merciful of the whole mankind. So we'd encourage them to do the same, to follow the Sunnah and the teachings of the Holy Prophet and send their blessings to the Holy Prophet.
It was here where Muslims, youth, scholars and diplomats urged all Muslim faithful to embrace humanity and cultivate peaceful coexistence within the society.
We have to be together. We have to take care of each other, because Islam teaches one thing, that you have to be mindful for the others.
Learn, because even the Prophet says you have to go and get the knowledge, even if it's from China. So we here, we groom them to use the social media positively.
He was brought as a blessing to the Ummah, to the world. And we should try to emulate his teachings.
Led by Iranian ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Golampo, and Chairman Shia Asna Ashari, Jamaat Saj Nairobi community, Dr. Mazahir Jaffa, they urged Muslims to be ambassadors of peace and follow Prophet Muhammad teachings that taught collaboration of all humanity in pursuit of peace.
Needs peace and prosperity, tranquility and brotherhood. And that's the message that we have been given and blessed, graced by the Prophet Muhammad teachings.
Prophet's message is 1, stick to the truth. 2, unity. 3, justice. Justice to mankind.
Now, China is out to stamp its footprint in Africa through exchange programs where African journalists will have an opportunity to experience the country. 28 journalists from Kenya, 4 among them from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, attended one such program hosted by the Research and Training Institute of the National Radio and Television Administration in Beijing. The 2-week program was designed to build professional capacity, foster international cooperation, and strengthen ties between Kenya and China's media industry. The KBC's team that attended the seminar now shares the following lessons from China.
Building from the philosophy and foundation laid down by the Chinese philosopher Confucius that has been able to drive and accelerate development in China, 28 Kenyan journalists had a unique opportunity to study how a country can entangle itself from poverty and move to modernity within a short period. The scholars enumerating how a vision with a clear path can drive a country to development. The virtues driving China, according to the scholars, were visualized thousands of years ago, a move they say has been able to hold the country to move in one direction. The seminar centered on the modernization journey and poverty alleviation policies to omni-media communication, cross-cultural storytelling, and the role of artificial intelligence in building the future of China.
They are calling it the emancipation of the past and trying to build the future. A future they say is going to be noble for the humanity.
One standout policy requires richer provinces to support poorer ones, while high-rise housing development frees rural land for farming. For Kenyan journalists, this echoed debates back home on President William Ruto's affordable housing program. The seminar extended to Guizhou, the 13th province of China, described as the poorest, yet by all standards a first world. Participants visiting the provincial media house, the Guizhou Radio and Television, as well as the colorful Guizhou New Media Company. The director of the program, Ms. Chu Ting, said the seminar was designed not only to equip Kenyan journalists with digital skills, but also to encourage friendship and mutual understanding between the two nations. With Kenya's own media industry navigating digital disruption, lessons on integration, content personalization, and technology adoption resonated strongly. Radio managing editor John Mwoki was struck by how far China has gone in merging technology with content creation. Still, he noted technology cannot fully replace human judgment. At one point, a translation app gave him a comical translation that missed the context of his question to a Chinese businessman. Beyond the newsroom, the seminar offered a window into daily life in China. Meals introduce participants to cuisines rarely found in Nairobi. Organizer Misara explained that while most people in China don't eat snake meat, many do drink snake wine, considered nutritious.
Some people put snake's body into wine. It's a kind of medicine. It can cure some disease.
Free evening dance classes provided both exercise and social connection for the senior citizens. Asha Hamisi, Sunday Express.
Yes, it's good that 4 team members actually have that opportunity to mingle with journalists across the country to just see how technology as well as human development is going to shape the future that is media and broadcast going forward. Now, did you know some insects carry more protein and are healthy fats than beef and chicken? One such insect is a cricket. Yes, the cricket, and such groups in Marsabit and Samburu counties are rearing to fight hunger and provide for their families and challenge a culture that often keeps them silent. Our environment reporter Pichu Chemtai brings us the extraordinary story of resilience of how crickets, small as they are transforming the lives in northern Kenya. Proof that sometimes the smaller solutions bring the biggest change.
At Manyatangamia in Marsabit County, women welcomed us with traditional songs and dances. Their colorful regalia and beads shine as they led us to a project that is reshaping their future, that is cricket rearing. Behind the smiles lies a story of survival in a land where drought has taken almost everything. Cricket rearing has become a lifeline here.
So male cricket iko na tails tatu ambaye ni short, na female cricket iko na twib mrefu. Na cricket moja inazaa more than 200 eggs.
Rosemary shows us how the insects are tended to.
Adult crickets tukiwaweka kwa hiyo incubators, lazima unawawekea chakula, pamba, zile cotton, unaweka cotton maji, na hiyo cotton ndio wanatumia kukunywa maji. So wakati cricket adult inakunywa maji kwa hiyo cotton, bado inataga mayai yake kwa hiyo cotton. So ikipata hiyo upepo within 7 days, hiyo mayai ina hatch, inakuwa cricket.
The mature ones are then identified and harvested.
Itafika mahali adult cricket haikupei mayai. So ukiona haikupei mayai, ujue hiyo cricket imefika mahali ambayo unaweza harvest.
The droppings are turned into fertilizer, so nothing goes to waste.
Unatumia hiyo mbolea kuweka kama kuongeza ile organic mbolea ile yetu tu ya Manyata, ile ambayo tu ni ya kawaida. Sisi tunaimix hiyo yetu kidogo, tunakoroga, alafu tunaweka tu kwa sukuma yetu.
A few kilometers into the neighboring county of Samburu is another group of women who have also embraced cricket rearing as a source of their income.
Na wameanza pia kupata mapato kutoka kwa cricket, kama wanaanza kupata kuku, na wamejua pia maana ya cricket. Tumejua maana mingi, kama inaongeza nguvu za kiume.
The crickets are then grounded into nutrient-rich flour that can be mixed with children's food to fight malnutrition and others for fortification of animal feeds.
Na baadaye ilisaidia sana kwa kikundi yangu kwa sababu kuna watoto ambao walikuwa kwa malnutrition. Tulikuwa na watoto wawili katika kikundi ambao walikuwa wanaenda hospitali, wanaenda kupata permanent.
Tuna feed kuku sinanona, tunauza kuku sikiwa simenona, tunauza mayai, inafanya pia kuku sisae mayai mingi.
The journey, however, is not without challenges.
Cricket vile wanasishika kwa manyumba usiku, ambaye pia it's another challenge, ni dangerous, sababu wakienda kutafuta wanaweza umwa na manyoka na scorpions.
Kama tu tuko na maji, hakuna kitu ambaye tunaweza enda kutafuta huko Meru, Isiolo, Nairobi. Ni sisi tu tushikane na tuweze kubadilisha maisha yetu sisi watu wafugaji.
Acceptance is slow and resources are limited.
Watu walishukulia kama ni maajabu na walishukulia kama ni kitu very funny, lakini ndio unaona hata sasa tuko na wasee kwa group.
Samani huko wanapatiwa kitu. Sasa hii mama akitaka kitu ya group, mzee anaweza uza mbuzi yake, alafu anampatia kitu kidogo ambaye ataingia naye kwa group.
For these women, cricket farming is not only about food, it is about dignity and breaking barriers in a male-dominated society.
Lakini sasa hata wasee wetu umeona hii group iko tu kitu. Hii group anasoma hata watoto. Hata sisi tunalishia watoto wetu chakula. Hii group inasaidia sisi sana.
Hii project ya cricket atapeleka tu sisi mbali. Kama tumeshika kabisa na hii kitu samani sisi tunasarau tumekuja sasa kujua ni kitu ya maana.
Frederick Owino, the Monitoring, Evaluation and Communication Officer at CODAID, said some insect species can be instrumental in value addition along the food chain.
If you take like 100 grams of crickets and you're looking at the protein profile, you would be able to get between 50 to 70% of 100 grams. If you compare this to the conventional sources of protein, which is soya meal or fish meal, the one we call omena, you'll find it is between 40 to 48%.
In these arid and semi-arid areas, often synonymous with nomadic lifestyles, insect rearing is changing livelihoods.
This is one project that was inspired by the last desert locust invasion in Kenya. And the whole essence of that was looking at if we ever have the next desert locust invasion, can we be able to harvest them and use them for food and feed?
From hunger to hope, these women are showing that even the smallest creatures can spark a big change.
Kama kilo ya cricket inatoka 2,500. Kwa nini sisi tusiende kufanya hii kazi ya cricket? Hapo sasa ndio wamama walipata changamoto, wakasema kama ni cricket iko na pesa, lazima mama abebe cricket.
Diversifying livelihoods among the pastoralist community through insect value chain is an initiative that has been embraced and adopted by these women that has not only make them food secure but also climate resilient. Opicho Chemtai reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Marsabit County.
Hapana, nani hiyo ni tabia mbaya.
Nilikuwa nataka usikie zile soda nimekunywa yani.
Congratulations Pasi. Congratulations.
What kind of food is this one? Nini chakula gani hii?
Uliitisha nini?
You are absent-minded. Are you really okay?
Sasa hisi ndio nataka uinfluence.
Mwambie tengeneze ikae more presentable.
This one you can edit. Unaongeza kachumbari hapa kando, unaweka nyama. Excuse me.
Leta story sasa.
Wacha nini na hawa watu wanaitwa wanaume?
Mimi usineke kwa hiyo mix yako.
Mbona Chemasunde ya rekodi kitu iweke kwenye mtandao?
Mimi kusema ukweli, nilikuwa tu nimekaa ngaona simu.
Hiyo ni vitina. Na hata nikwambie kama kitu injasemwa na mwato wewe. Isino propaganda by the way.
Tuko macho, tunangojea season 2.
Now, before we took that particular breather, my colleague Jael Opicho Chemtai there was in Samburu and filed that particular report. The big question is, Jael, did you get to sample the cricket flour? And from what you said is that at least a kilo or 2 kg pack of cricket flour fetches around 2,000 shillings. Indeed, that's a game changer because if you look at the retail price of a 2 kg flour, of maize flour, goes for around maybe 300 or 250 depending on the grade that you are buying. And my question is, are we likely to see more women, more entrepreneurs getting into cricket farming for this particular reason? We had a stint with the chameleon rearing, especially within the larger Mount Kenya region. We also had the quails and such, and it turned out to be quite the pyramid scheme, so to speak. But then I hope that this cricket farming is indeed going to be a game changer. Very well, Picho Chemtai, for that particular report when it comes to food security, nutrition in light of climate change. Now, medical appeal here, where a family in Utawala, Nairobi County, is pleading for assistance to save the life of their kin who needs 12 million shillings to undergo a bone marrow transplant surgical procedure in India. The 19-year-old Ned Gori was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia shortly after birth. His condition has robbed him of a normal childhood and placed him a heavy financial burden and economic toil on the mother, who has been the sole caregiver following the death of his father shortly after he was diagnosed with the condition. Our reporter John Kahiro has the details of the family's desperate plea.
Estate in Nairobi County. When baby Ned Gori was born in 2006, he appeared healthy. 4 months after his birth, he developed an unexplained swelling and pain in his legs.
After birth, Ned was just okay. Nyakati alifika 4 months old, ndio tukaanza kunotice mguu zilikuwa zimefura.
According to his mother, initial medical test provided little information on what was ailing her child. However, a visit to a lab in Nairobi delivered a heartbreaking diagnosis. Ned was suffering from sickle cell anemia.
Si ugonjwa rahisi kudil nayo. So vile baba Ned hata hakukula, akachukua tu mtoto, hata mimi that day sikukula. So tukakaa tu ile tu, we have to console one another.
This marked the long battle not only by Ned, but also the family to nurse him back to health. 3 years after his diagnosis, Ned lost his father in what the family says was called a blooded murder.
Vile alikufa, it was not easy. Tulianza, cause by then tulianza tu, maisha ilikuwa ngumu. Kila saa mimi niko na mtoto hospitali. Every time, so ilibidi by then sasa juu mimi sikuwa na kazi, juu nyakati nilikuwa na job, mambo ya shida ya Ned ilifanya sasa nifanye nini, nianze kuchunga mtoto, so niliacha kazi.
With the dad gone, the emotional and financial burden for caring for Ned would increase on the mom, even as the disease continued to progress, leaving the little Ned in cycle of pain, body aches, fatigue, frequent infections, and countless nights in crisis. The hospital has now become his second home, with the countless admissions scooping all the family savings.
Saa zingine mtoto anakuwa na uchungu, hata as a mother, kusema ukweli, huwezi vumilia. Ned amepitia. Cause mtoto mdogo anadungwa mpaka mtoto anapiga nduru mpaka, yani ukiangalia vile Ned anaweza piga nduru akidungwa, as a mother hautaangalia, unatoka.
Sometimes nimekuwa nikimiss class even though ningependa kuattend zote kwa wenzangu. Most of the times imekuwa ikinipata kwa hospitali, so nimekuwa nikiwish nikuwe tu sawa ndo nikuweka wengine.
Despite all this, there lies a glimmer of hope. Doctors have recommended a bone transplant in India as a permanent solution. However, the delicate process comes at 12 million shillings, an amount that is far beyond their reach.
Omba Kenya kama mnaweza nisaidia, niende India nifanywe bone marrow transplant, ndo nikuje nisaidie mama hapa mwenye amekuwa akini support tangu nikuwe mdogo mpaka sasa. So kama mnaweza nisaidia, mnaweza nisaidia hapo tu kwa nini kwa pay bill number.
The distressed family is now appealing to well-wishers for financial assistance to nurture Ned's dream of living to become an IT expert.
Kufanyiwa bone marrow transplant inahitaji pesa mingi sana. Kupata hiyo pesa, mimi as a widow nimejaribu, siwezi pata 12 million for the bone marrow transplant, but mtoto amepitia uchungu mingi.
To assist the family, channel your contributions to pay bill number 42300 34, account name Ned Gori Medical Fund, or reach out to his mother Florence Atieno through her telephone number 0720 64 1872.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Well, before we get into the sporting arena, just in case you wanted to actually chip in and assist Ned Gori there, the 19-year-old who was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, seek medical treatment. That is a bone marrow transplant there. The details are available on our website, and probably we can take that particular line on your screen there. Well wishers can channel their contribution to a pay bill number that is 423 0034. 423 0034. That is account Ned Gori Medical Fund. It says that a hand that is willing to give is a hand that is willing to receive. And talking about receiving, what has Arsenal there dished out to Newcastle? Over to you, Bernardo.
Thank you so much, Ray. Indeed, unajua Waswahili wanasema kwamba ukiona cha mwenzako chanyolewa cha kutia maji. That's the case that happened yesterday. Maybe that say could have applied yesterday, right? Because yesterday vichwa vya wengi vilinyolewa, lakini Arsenal kinda they are cut above the rest. Anyway, that and much more coming up. We begin locally here, where the Kenya National Women's Under-20 team, Rising Starlets, are through to the third round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifier after beating Ethiopia by 4-0 in the second leg of their second round match played today at Ulinzi Sports Complex. Now, having played to a 1-1 draw in the first leg last Sunday in Addis Ababa, Rising Starlets were quick on the attack, scoring their first goal in just the 4th minute at Ulinzi. Starlets added 2 more goals before halftime. Kenya scored a 4th goal in the second half as they qualified on a 5-1 aggregate score. Starlets will play Tanzania in the third round in February next year, with the winner progressing to the 4th and final round to be played in May. The 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup finals will be played from the 5th to 27th of September next year in Poland. And still on soccer, where FKF Premier League champions Kenya Police have qualified to the CAF Champions League second preliminary round despite losing the second leg 2-0 to Mogadishu City at the Nyayo National Stadium. Police, who won the first leg 3-1, have progressed on away goals scored after the 2-legged encounter ended in a 3-all stalemate. Masis and Ibrahim Bangura scored the 2 goals for Mogadishu City in the second leg today, but could not find a winning goal. The second preliminary round of the matches will be played in October, with the first leg set for 17th to 19th, while the second legs will be played between 24th and 26th of next month. The group stage of the CAF Champions League will commence on 21st of November 2025, culminating in the knockout phase, which is scheduled to begin on 13th of March 2026. Now remember, Kenya Police will definitely now meet either Al Ahly Madani or Al Jamus of South Sudan in the second round.
Unfortunately, very painful tumetolewa. Kwa hiyo juhudi yote tumeweka kwa hii game. Hatimaye tumeshinda, lakini tumetolewa na away goal, but good play for Police.
Kosa ya mtu mmoja kwa kushambulia inafikiri nafanya walimwamini kama itaenda, afu nakutana imerudi huku nyuma. Sasa tulihitaji hiyo utulivu, lakini wakati tuko tunatafuta goli ndio tuna concede.
Quite a remarkable result from the Mogadishu City, who nonetheless exit the competition. And Muranga still registered their first win of the new FKF Premier League season after beating newly promoted APS Bomet by 2-0 in one of the two top-flight matches played on Sunday. The 2 goals helped Muranga avoid the second straight defeat of the new season and moved them to the 6th position on the table with 3 points above Bidco United. APS Bomet are rooted at the bottom of the table without a point from 2 games. Shabana FC meanwhile made it 2 wins out of 2 after beating Bandari FC 1-0 in Mombasa, the second game of the match played today. Brian Mishira scored Shabana's lone goal in the 64th minute to keep them at the top of the table with 6 points, same as second-placed Posta Rangers. Bandari are currently in 13th position with just 1 point.
Walichokisahau ni kuwa hii ni Shabana ya raha, lakini pia ni Shabana furaha. Brian Mishira Ligilo waliwaita.
It's a game of chances. In fact, they didn't even create a chance. Wampata half chance na wakafunga. So this is a marathon na ni kung'ang'ana. Hakuna kuweka kichwa chini because unaweza kuwa mwisho kwa marathon but ukamaliza juu. So ni hiyo tu. Alafu the worst thing also ni tumepata injury. Willy Gitamu ameingia, tuko tunataka kuongeza power but imekuwa ni tushamaliza sub, so tumemaliza na watu 10. So I think this is a lesson na a lesson well learned.
Tuko kwa ligi kuchukua kuwin league, tuko kwa ligi kuparticipate. So I think for us we want kunyenyekea sana mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu na tuendelee kuwa zaidi kuliko vile tumekuwa tukiwaka. So tunaenda kuwa zaidi sana ndio tuweze kupata matokeo mazuri tukienda mbele.
Geuka nayo rahisi sana. Pembeni sasa.
And it must be a good feeling for the Glamour Boys fans, for they are at the top of the summit. And for the second year running, Sati Gataura emerged as the overall winner of the Concours d'Elegance and Automobile Pageantry held Sunday at Ngong Racecourse in Nairobi. Dominique Antoine, riding a 1925 Triumph 550 SD, won the motorcycles category. Over 10,000 spectators attended the event, marking its 53rd edition.
Sorry, we have some newcomers in the...
Gata Aura's meticulously prepared 1947 MGTC scored a total of 277 points to win the 53rd Concours d'Elegance, attended by hordes of passionate automobile enthusiasts.
The mayor of Lagos has arrived.
Gataura racked up 37 points on the underside, 77 on external finish, 59 on interior finish, 55 on the engine, 6 on roadworthiness, and 43 on age to beat a field of 75 car entrants.
But on the car side, this is the oldest car in the competition.
James Dudas' 1928 Ford Model A pickup took second overall position in the car class on 272 points, as Mike Dudas' 1930 Essex Super 6 was ranked third on 258 points.
We have various things that we look at. So the first thing, which is not decided by the competitor, is actually the age. So the older the bike, the more points you get. So then you've got the first section that we judge the external finish, the metallic parts of the external finish. Then you've got the second part, which is mechanical, which is the second section. And the third section, where they check out the trim. This means the seat, the tires, anything non-metallic. So they gather all these points. And the guy with the highest points does the best. So truth is, if you have an older bike, you have a better chance.
The motorcycle class was won by Dominique Antoine's 1925 Triumph 550 SD, while Rick Agagliet's Triumph 550 SD and Douglas Kiroini's 1980 Yamaha RD 400G finished in second and third positions, respectively.
I love my bikes more than my wife. That's what she says me. I love my bike more than her. That's what she complains.
I'm coming here for now over 30 years because I love the vintage cars. And also, I just like to see how they are restored, especially the ones that have been taken from accident scenes, and then you find that they've restored them completely.
I am here to witness history, modern history and previous history. I love to see the growth of the automobile industry, and this is a great place to showcase this. And yeah, we're enjoying it as the young people as well to just learn.
We have big bikes here. I've seen a very good Harley Davidson. We have seen also Ugandan bikers,
which shows a good a good show from other countries coming to join this show, but we didn't like it. And bike is the best way of transport. I used to ride. I had an accident back in 2010. I don't ride anymore, but I still miss riding.
This year's Concours, the Elegance paid tribute to the late Bob Dewar, a public relations guru and one of the brains behind the annual event.
Bob Dewar was a very passionate man. He owned this Concours d'Elegance. He'd been doing it for 51 years. Most of us are here because of him. He drove us for that excellence, which is really what Concours d'Elegance means.
Veronica, a big shout out to Veronica.
And quite a spectacle to watch the automobiles there. Meanwhile, it was a thrilling showdown in Arid, Mexico, as Cuba clinched the 2025 WBSC Baseball 5 World title in spectacular fashion, overcoming Chinese Taipei in a high-energy final at the Park La Loma court. Cuba dominated from the very start, taking the first set with a confident 5-3 win, but it was in the second set where they truly showed their class, steamrolling past Taipei with a commanding 13-3 finish to seal the championship in just 2 sets. Chinese Taipei finished runners-up, while Venezuela and host nation Mexico took 3rd and 4th places, respectively. Perhaps the biggest story of the tournament was Kenya's historic debut. The African side captured hearts and headlines with a remarkable run, finishing 5th overall.
This game requires a lot of resilience. Some of the games, like the game of Mexico that we lost, I feel we were not supposed to lose that game, and we would have been in the semi-finals and probably taken the trophy. We have learned our mistakes, but above all, out of the 7 games that we have played, we have won 5 games and we have lost only 2. We have beaten the whole of Asia, we have beaten Europe, we are now left with the Caribbean and North America, and even to them, we are coming for you.
And quite a Cinderella story there for the national baseball team. The national men's hockey team to this year's Africa Cup of Nations is hopeful of registering impressive showing at the forthcoming Continental Showpiece, which will be hosted in Ismailia, Egypt from 11th to 18th of October. The team, which consists of 25 players, will be trimmed to 18 under the guidance of head coach Michael Malungu. The squad will be aiming to go one better at the October event, having finished 4th in the 2022 edition. Kenya will open its quest again as hosts Egypt before facing South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria and Zambia.
We need to push this time. It has not been great so far, but I think we have a young and a nice crop of players, so we're looking to really improve this time and improve our rankings.
Just to psych them up so that they can know the task ahead, but zero pressure. We have to work as a team and make Kenya proud.
Internationally now, where Ollie Watkins ended his goal drought as Aston Villa came from behind to beat Fulham 3-1 for their first Premier League win of the campaign. The England striker had not scored in his previous 9 games, a joint worst run of his Villa career, but his equaliser gave Villa the platform for victory.
First sight of goal, they've scored from it. Raul Jimenez back in the side, back amongst the goals, and Aston Villa back in a state of anguish.
What a header, what a delivery, whipped in with real...
Watkins chasing, Ollie Watkins in, scores! How he need, and it's one that might transform. His goal against Bologna was good, that one is even better, and Villa lead at home in the league for the first time all season. Down the line for Ollie Watkins as they look for 3. Buendia! 2 in 2 minutes.
And it must be a great feeling for Villa fans noting their first win of the campaign and rediscovering their mojo and their form this particular season. That's how we put a cap on Sunday Express Sports. Thanks so much for watching. But I hand you back to Ray.
Now, Bernardo Kungu, before I let you go, it has been quite the weekend for soccer lovers there. Maybe you can give us a quick summary of the top performing teams in as far as the EPL is concerned and what the results were, especially Saturday through Sunday.
Yes, and that's the English Premier League, right?
Yes.
Indeed, you know, as I said earlier, it was about vichwa vya wengine kunyolewa. That was yesterday. Manchester United lost to Brentford. That was 3-1 score. Chelsea lost as well to Brighton. And remember that Liverpool, the league leaders, also lost to Crystal Palace by 2-1. So this meant that maybe it could be a weekend. It could have been a weekend where the big guns were falling, but Arsenal just appeared to be so good and too good for Newcastle, requiring a last-minute goal from Megales to win 2-1 at St. James's Park, which is a very difficult hunting ground for Arsenal. So they won and they moved to second position, just 2 points off leaders.
Liverpool,
yes.
And that's why I think Adelaide Mombi there is very happy about what happened in regard to this particular weekend. Thank you very much for that particular feed. But then we also have Arsenal fans who have gotten into our social media platforms saying that that was a deserved well win. They were quite anxious, but it went well. We're talking about John Otieno as well as Grace Gatimo as well as Sarah Washera. They're saying that yes, that's a good win for them. But then the likes of Manchester United, where we have Steve Gomez coming in and say that was just a lucky win. And as far as the weekend is concerned, they go home disappointed after the result. Remember, come Monday, we're going to be focusing on what has been happening in the sporting arena in our show in the morning, Sports Check, with my colleagues there. So you can also keep your feedback coming in through that particular portal. You can get us on our various social media platforms. And thank you very much for watching.
Tushinde.com. Cheza safe, cheza smart. Gambling is addictive, not for persons under the age of 18 years.
Dosi amelala, sukuma moja. Wewe pia ndio muoga. Ndio maana Master Demi ilikupita. Demi haiko nipita bwana. Mimi najaza entry ticket zangu. Wewe hata unajua namba ya kusenda.
Sini star 419 has.
Option.
Ni Probox.
Bwana finya hiyo kitu.
Mfinye.
Finya hiyo kitu.
Nifinye.
Finya hiyo kitu.
Nifinye.
Finya bwana.
Iko Probox kwa star 419 hash option 3. Fresh design ndani ya light commercial vehicle. Cargo space ni kubwa na kama haitoshi iko foldable back seat for more space. Kamera ni mbili mbele na kamera ni mbili nyuma. Injini yako ni 1500cc. Nguvu na picking guaranteed. Hii itakuserve whether ni familia, biashara, camping, ita come through.
Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu.
Wewe, saini saa ngapi unafungua hiyo gate? Ni watchman alikuwa anatoka na gari yake.
Watchman? Ametoa gari wapi?
Ya wasi amesinda kwa star 419 hash. Iko Probox kwa star 419 hash option 3. Cheza safe, cheza smart. Gambling is addictive, not for persons under the age of 18 years.